Hey guys, girls. So this is a graphics card that a subscriber sent me in to look at, and it was one of the, in fact it was the last to turn up on the offer I made in September, October to do free repairs. And there was a couple of problems with it that I managed to repair, but unfortunately I still can't get this card working properly. So if you don't want to watch a video that at the end doesn't have actually a conclusion that's good, then okay, you can move on to the next one, So the reason I can't repair this at the moment is basically because I can't figure out what's wrong with it. And you'll see that if you watch through the video. I've asked on a couple places. I've asked on Tech Cemetery. Those guys are very much GPU experts, whereas I do a mixture of stuff. And I asked on their Discord, and nobody seems to come up with an answer as to what the problem is with this one. So I thought, let's publish the video and you can see what was wrong with it. You can see what I've repaired. You can see how it ended up. And hopefully maybe some of you guys can come up with some suggestions, and then we can continue with this. I have another 380 coming in shortly. It's been sent, so maybe that'll help if I've got one to compare it with. Also, I'll shout out to King's Overkill. I know you sometimes come over here. I know you guys are experts also in GPU repair, mainly in the Spanish community. So also you have a look at this if you could, mate, and see if you can come up with any suggestions how to proceed further. Okay, enough waffle. Let's get on with it. Here comes the video. Hi guys, got quite a nice graphics card here for repair. GeForce RTX, it's EVGA, and it's a RTX 3080. And this was sent to me by a subscriber, asked me if I could have a look at it. I think I had a bit of an accident or a mishap with this card. So what he's saying is, hi Richard, I included a part that fell off when I opened the GPU. Also, he doesn't say I need why I opened the GPU. I seem to remember in his email he said he wanted to clean the fans. Also, another of the exact same part fell off. I tried to reattach, but will also need to be replaced. Any questions? And I've got his email address, which obviously is private. So, there you go. This was sent to me by Jason. So hi Jason. Hope I can fix this for you. So the component he sent me, the one in the bag, is this one, which is clearly an inductor, like a book. Looks like a booklet inductor. Let's just get the microscope and have a look. So this is the part that broke off, and he says another one broke off. It is obviously a buck regulator coil. What I'm a bit mostly concerned about this is it appears that the terminal effectively comes from here, is sheared off it. Both sides. So obviously I'm pretty sure the pads which must have been here will still be attached to the graphics card. So I'm not rightly sure I can actually repair that. I think I'm going to have to get a replacement for it, and that could be rather fun. Okay, so let's open up the graphics card and let's have a look, see where this came from, and let's have a look at the other one that he's reattached, or did he say tried to? He said he tried to reattach, and let's have a look to see what we've got with this one. I'll just mention, camera stopped flashing, magic that, isn't it? Just mention, obviously I'm sure Jason you know about this, but there's a screw with like the springy backing part missing from here, so I'm going to have to try and find a replacement for that if I can get the thing fixed, but I'm sure you're aware of that, although you didn't mention it on the email as far as I remember, or in the letter. But anyway, I just pointed it out, okay, so I see what's actually happened is this is sheared off, this bolt here which comes through from the metal bracket here, this heat pipe thing is sheared off. That's what's wrong with that. I'll see if I can actually do anything with that if I actually manage to fix the card, Okay, so I'm in there. First thing, obviously, there's a hell of a lot of heatsink compound and stuff on this, This is like bent over and stuck, so I'm sure this wasn't, well, it didn't happen, I just lifted these off. Obviously it comes from there. So yeah, I've not worked on one of these before, so I've no idea if this is actually normal for one of these, but maybe Jace, you can let us know the history of this more maybe. But yeah, okay, so we've got it open, so now I need to figure out, oh I see, so one comes from here, and as I suspected, the pads are effectively stuck to the PCB. And is this the one where you see you try to replace one? Let me zoom down, let's have a look. Oh yeah, I see it now. So this is actually a space for capacitor, which I suspect was never fitted, yeah. This is clearly where one of the inductors has been broken off, and you can see the remains of the legs effectively, yeah, which are down there and there. And the other one, I can only take it, Jace, this is the one that you tried to replace. So this side seems to be soldered okay, but this side again, this is broken off from the inductor, and I'm not sure I can actually get that to solder back on and actually make a connection. I can try, I mean there's no harm in trying, there's nothing to lose. I mean I can sort of see, so just get a focus on that angle, yeah, see if I can get to focus like that, yeah, it's better. Yeah, I can see there like the metal there, yeah, and I can see where that's where they should go. I honestly don't think that's going to be doable like that. And the same with this one, which was quite clear to see, yeah. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do with this, the first attempt, is see if I can actually get replacement components. If that isn't possible, then we have to maybe try something a bit more inventive, yeah. Okay, so I'll go and ask if I can get any replacements for this, and then I'll be back very shortly for you guys, but I'm sure it'll be a long time for me. Okay guys, see you soon. Okay, didn't take me so long to find out at least. So these inductors, this 2R2, I knew it was a 2.2 microhenry. I think this is a date code, to be honest. The size of this, which I measured, is 7mm by 7 by 3 basically, and I had a look around. I found some different inductors, like with different sizes, like 0520 and 0630 and so on. Yeah, so I googled like like something like 0630 dimensions inductor. Yeah, and I found that is a 6.6 by 7 by 3 mil inductor, and the picture actually looks like this as well, with like you can see the indent here. Yeah, so I'm sure I know what these are. I can get a pack of these, like 10 of them, for just a couple of euros with the postage, to be quite honest. So I'm going to go ahead and order these parts. I'm not going to bother to ask you, Jace, because I'm sure you're not too worried about a couple of euros considering the value of this item anyway. Yeah, so I'll get them ordered. It's going to take a few weeks for them to arrive probably here, our post being not the fastest thing in the world. Yeah, so I'll get us on one side, and when the parts turn up I'll get them fitted, and then we can have a look, yeah, to see if we can actually fix it. But before I actually order the parts, I'll just check some resistances on this to make sure there isn't anything else obviously wrong with it. Yeah. So I'll just get the meter in where you can see it. There you go. Yeah. So I'm on ground, so just check from the 12 volts coming in, and it's a high resistance. Yeah, we don't have a short there. 3.3 volts, fourth one in, again 5 kilo ohms. Yeah, that's, you can't see the range, but I can see the range. That's okay. We've got the 12 volts up here. I'm not sure which side of the connector is the 12 volts. I think it's the underneath. So again, that's high resistance. That's a high resistance. The fact I'm getting a reading that's climbing, like capacitor's charging, makes me sure I don't have like an open circuit fuse or something on them. Yeah, there's a few little coils up around here which are probably 5 volts or something like that, or maybe they're on the 12 volts. Yeah. So there's no shorts here. Well, there's another one down here. This might be a 5 volts. Yeah, 320 ohms. That seems quite reasonable. These are probably just filters, I'm guessing, these ones. I don't see any chip around here or under here. Yeah, so these are probably just filters on the 12 volts. But let's have a quick look. These are all reading, yeah, high. So this one, I'm led to believe this is the memory, yeah, which should be, I don't know, 40 ohms, 30 to 60, something like that. I'm not familiar with this card. Yeah, 43, yeah. So that works perfectly. Move that thing, there you go, a bit better. So that looks perfectly fine. I noticed, I was just checking these are all on V-core, and V-core on this basically reads short as near as, damn it, yeah, 0.3. 0.4, even down to 0.3 then, yeah. The V-core is very low resistance on this. And these over here also appear to be on V-core, like we've got a lot of phases, yeah. Okay. There's 8 phases here, and if you count these, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, yeah, there's 13 here. And that made me think one of them is something different then. So I had a quick look down these. And this one at the bottom is reading about 43, which that reads about the same as the RAM, yeah. So whether that's like memory controller or something, another part of the GPU, yeah, that isn't the core basically. But that seems okay. These two broken ones, I actually know what they are. And again, this is looking around on the internet. This one is the PEX voltage, yeah, PCIe Express interface, and this one's the 1.8 volts. So if you look at this one, obviously the coil's broken, so this side reads high, and the other side reads quite low, about 4.2. Those things come off there, that's off altogether now. 4.2, and from what I've seen, this should be reading about 6, but I'm not overly worried at that. I mean, maybe that is a problem, but it isn't far off what I expected it to be, yeah. And this one should be quite high in the hundreds of ohms. Again, it's broken, so I need to go to both sides. That's 3.4 meg. And this is reading like 620 ohms on the 1.8, so that seems also perfectly good. The other one I'm slightly suspect of is this one, but it doesn't seem to be that low that I'd be overly worried about it, yeah. So I think we can go along and we can order the two inductors. We know what they did and what they should do, and when they arrive I'll power this up, and with the inductors fitted, you know, the resistance is all okay. Let's see what it actually does, yeah. Okay, so it's a few weeks later, yeah. I ordered the inductors. I just got a pack of 10 of them, so 2.2 microhenry 2R2 inductors, and I'm pretty sure these are the same size as the one that's broken. Yeah, it looks basically the same as that. I think I might even have the yeah, missing one. Anyway, let's get the cameras in down, yeah. Okay, so yeah, 2R2 inductors, basically the same size as the original one, slightly slimmer in that direction. Same sort of mount. Obviously the actual pads have broke off this one. So we'll get these put on here, and then let's have a look to see if they actually work. Just before I fit these inductors, I thought it might just be an idea just to test them. Well, I have no reason to suspect they are not what they are, but thought it'd be interesting. Now I've got this little LCR tester here, which supposedly tests inductance, but when I put them into this, it just measures them as a resistor. It thinks they're resistors, and I'm not sure how you can tell the meter that you're trying to read an inductance. I don't really know enough about using this thing, I guess. I did a quick Google and couldn't find any obvious answer to that. Obviously the inductor is also a low value resistor, and that says like a 0.15 ohm resistor, yeah. It doesn't seem to make much difference which pins you put across, as you'd expect. You should expect it to stay the same. Okay, be a slightly different resistance. None of my multimeters have an inductance range. Well, you can buy them. I think I'm going to get myself one, you know. But I thought I'd just stick it on the ESR meter. So that's 0, yeah. And if I put this on the ESR meter, I'll just tag a couple of wires on it to make life easy. It's reading 1.29, so that's like reading a resistance, which you'd expect what an inductor would do if you put 100 kilohertz through it. So yeah, I'm guessing, you know, they're good inductors. I think I will buy myself an inductance meter. This allows you all. Somebody knows how to use this to measure inductance. Can you let me know? Because it doesn't seem intuitive, yeah, shall we say. Okay, so I mean they're reading like an inductor, yeah, they're reading more than the resistance would be. So okay, let's get them fitted on the board and let's see what happens with this one. I'm on air. Okay guys, so I've replaced the inductors. I noticed something. I've noticed this before, but I'll just point it out to you. I saw on, I'm sure it was on Tech Cemetery's channel actually, he mentioned that the DC resistance from this, which is PEX, is about 6 ohms. And on my card, earlier part of this video, it was reading about 4. It's now reading 4.6, 4.7, yeah. Now, what I did notice yesterday when I replaced this and this one, obviously getting this area of the board warm, afterwards I checked the resistance here, and it was like 2.5 or 2.6, and I thought, oh, heavens, what's happened there, you know. And then as this was cooling down, the resistance was increasing. And that kind of makes some sense because the first part of this video I did was over a month ago. And the weather was considerably warmer then, so the workshop was much warmer. And I've actually noticed when I came in this morning, this was actually reading a bit over 5. So I wanted to see if I can actually just replicate this. So this is a bit of freezer spray. I'm just going to give the GPU a quick cool and see whether it changes. So just cool the GPU a little bit. Let's see if this actually changes. Yeah, 5.5. You can see it quite clearly now, yeah? So, this GPU in particular, there wasn't anything wrong with the GPU, it's just cold now, yeah? Obviously, the resistance, and I'm assuming the current it draws and it powers up, but I don't know whether that really is affected by the DC resistance. But it's changing with temperature. And quite possibly the other rails are as well, yeah? I mean, I didn't measure, this is VRAM is now at 55, yeah? And I don't know whether that, I don't know, is that going to decrease as this board warms up a little bit? Obviously it's just, you know, that doesn't seem to be changing very much. But this one is, yeah, it's coming back down again. Yeah. Just thought I'd mention these. I've heard of boards, graphics cards that will shut down and then won't power up again until they cool down. And I've also heard tell that if you've got one that won't power up, put it in the fridge, and nobody could really explain why that would make a difference. But temperature is definitely affecting this one. I have seen it on other ones, but it's particularly notable, so I thought I'd really point that out. Okay, so we're ready to go. John Chapman, hi John. Yeah, you mentioned that I really needed to put some insulation on the end of here, yeah? You said one of these days you're going to short a GPU out against that. I said, yeah, you're right. So underneath, you can't see, but underneath and above, all around the end, is now insulated, yeah. Okay, so let's give this a go, let's see what happens. So we're good to go. This is a AMD heatsink and fan. Again, I've got this like masking tape around the edges, but I can use this. This is a little thermal pad I have, yeah. You've seen this before probably, so I'll rest that on there. I can just rest this on here. And this will give us a little bit of cooling just while we test this. I just want to see if this actually does power up now. Okay, everything's ready to go. So, well, fingers crossed, and let's power on and see what it does, eh? And something isn't turned on. Okay, not quite as ready to go as I said. Just got power. I need to change the switch on my Variac one at the moment. Okay, after the suspense, we are actually now ready to go. So let's see what this does now, yeah? Well, the PC's powered up, something is bleeping. And I've got a picture. Okay, guys. You can see it there, yeah? It came up with the splash screen. So this is good. Well, this is powering up. Yeah, that's a good sign. So now I will effectively put it into the PC. I'll put it all back together. We'll load some drivers and let's see if it actually works now. Just before I forget, by the way, I meant to mention, it's obvious from what I was just showing you, really, the resistance on the PEX rail in particular. But I was actually reading when it was warmer, like 33%, lower, 2/3 of the resistance, 4 ohms rather than 6. And I questioned whether there was a problem with the GPU. They're obviously clearly very dependent on the ambient temperature. So I wouldn't be surprised if you're watching a video and someone's in a cold climate, yeah, and he's saying, look, it should be 6 ohms or 10 ohms, and you're in a warm climate and you're reading 6 in the summer. That's quite possibly why. All right, now let's test this properly and let's see if it works. But yeah, hopefully this is a good one. Well, unfortunately, it wasn't as easy as that. Yeah, so I had this in the computer, and I can get into Windows. Especially if I turn the little switch on. There's a little switch on here somewhere, overclock on or off, normal or overclock. And with it set to overclock, once I load the drivers, I just can't get into Windows anymore. With it on normal, I can actually get to the desktop in Windows and Windows 10 with the drivers loaded. But as soon as I try to do anything, it crashes, I get a black screen. So I went back to the guy who this belongs to and asked for some more information about what actually happened with this graphics card. So what he's saying is that he took it apart to add more thermal compound, and after he'd done that, it started doing what I saw. It was crashing in Windows. As soon as you tried to do anything, the screen would go black. And he then took it apart again, thinking he got some sort of power issue, and this is where the 2 inductors got broke off. Yeah. So this crashing with the black screen of Windows was before those 2 inductors got broke off. So I went back and said, okay, well, when did this stud here get broken off? Yeah. So he says that this got broken off the first time when he added more thermal compound. So basically, what I know about this is it started this business of crashing in Windows with the drivers loading after this was broken off. And after more heatsink compound is added to it, he then took it apart again, and that's when the inductors are broken. So this problem predates, if you like, the problem with the inductors. So it doesn't seem to be overheating, but I'm going to, first of all, just try and put this back how it was. So I need to see if I can do something with this. Yeah, I mean, the stud is actually stuck into the heatsink, and maybe I can get that out of there and then fit something back in. I can have a look. And I'm going to clean off all the excessive thermal compound and see if something else is maybe broken off or damaged at that point, yeah? So let's get this apart again and let's see if we can actually now get to the bottom of the problem with it. Okay, I've managed to get the broken stud out. Yeah. Yeah. And if these hadn't have worked, I would use the mole grips, but yeah, that's done it. So I've got this broken stud. I'll show it to you. So there it is, yeah, it's come out. You can see it's sheared off basically. But I mean, this is just a threaded hole in here, so I should be able to get like a bolt into that, just a normal bolt, and manage to fit the clamp on properly. That's the first thing. This is messy, but there's like, plenty of compound on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to concentrate on the board basically. I'm going to clean all the mess off this board, because I'm sure that when I come put it back together, there's enough left on it to do the job. Yeah. I don't know why the guy actually originally decided to put more heatsink compound on, because he does say it was working up until that point. So to get all this lot off here, I'm going to try isopropyl alcohol and see. I might just try to get the excess off the top of the coils first, scrape this stuff off, and then just rub it off with a bit of kitchen roll, and then I'll try some isopropyl. So I'll do my best to clean this up, and then we can come back when I've got it off and let's see what we can see. So I've got the worst of the heatsink compound off it with everywhere, yeah. So we can have a look now. I mean, there's still traces of it around, but the first thing we'll have a look to see is if any of the capacitors on the substrate of the GPU are actually broken off, and they look okay. So let's have a look around the board now. It was all the way down by the RAM chips, yeah. So just adjust the focus very slightly. There you go. Yeah, I've got it. And just have a look to see. Some of the capacitors on here are actually diagonal. When I first glanced at it, I thought, how come they're on the side? Yeah, but they're obviously mounted diagonally on the board at strange angles, so that doesn't seem to be actually a problem. It's just how they are, yeah. So we can have a look down here, and I don't see any obvious. This is one of the two coils I actually had to fit, and the other one is here, and they look like they're soldered down nicely. Let's have a look across the RAM chips up at the top here as well. So once again, there's no obviously broken capacitors here or damaged. There's a bit of a. Let me just find something to get up to the board. What's this one here? Well, it's just a bit of something sitting on the board, so that's nothing of any consequence. Yeah, so this all looks all right. And again, we can come down the side here. So I don't see any damaged or missing components really. Is there something here, or is it not? Sometimes it's extremely hard to tell. I'll just get the find a little something to tweezers. Have a quick look. What's this here? Oh no, there is actually a component there. It just looks a little bit like there wasn't. There is a component there. I can feel it. And there, yeah. So really, all this looks to be fine. As I say, there's obviously you can see this traces still of the heatsink compound on this, but not so much that we can't see what's going on now. I don't think it's really that important to get rid of the last bits and bobs of this. Yeah, I think it's good enough now. So. Once you've started, you've got to remove it, haven't you? There we go. Okay, so all that looks okay. So I think the thing is now to try it. Yeah. So let's have a look at the other half of this, the heatsink half. So there's not too much around. I mean, obviously, it's here, and obviously we want all the pads to be in place. So this lot down here looks like it should be working okay. Same here with the pads onto the top of the RAM. I can put a little bit of fresh MX4 on there, and then this is this side. So I think there's enough compound on this when I put it back together. I'll just put a bit fresh here to go onto the GPU. I'll put it onto the GPU itself, and then I'll reassemble this, and let's first of all see if it actually by any chance now works, and if it doesn't work, now let's run a memory test and see if that gives us any information. Obviously I've removed the broken stud now, so I can find a bolt to put in there. We can actually put the clamp on properly now. Okay, let's get that done. It's back together again. So this is effectively the replacement screw. It's got a star washer underneath it. It's out of a set of laptop screws I have. It just to fit. It was just exactly the right length as well. So we now have the clamp fitted correctly. At the moment it's just set onto normal here because I found it was more stable on normal, but if it works you can try it on the overclock position, which is how it was set originally when I got it. And yeah, let's try it. So I'll put it back into the computer now, and let's see if it will now load into Windows. Yeah, unsurprisingly, it didn't actually make any difference. So it's crashing in Windows, and I can get to the Windows desktop. Or I just pretty much completed downloading the EVGA drivers, and then it just gives a black screen and the PC crashes. that's without the driver installed. So what we'll do is now let's try the test software, the King's Overkill test for the RTX 3000 series, and let's see if we can find any problems with the RAM on this GPU. Okay, so we have it ready to go. On my machine I have to disable the onboard Intel video, and I also have to move the drive to the top of the list above UEFI boot, otherwise it doesn't display the menu on here. Yeah, so we're going to go to option 1 and enter. Let's start the test and see what actually happens. Okay, so it's running a RAM test. It doesn't take very long, I don't think. Let's have a look. And it passes. Okay, well, that tells us we've got good RAM, but it doesn't actually tell us what the problem is, why the thing's crashing in Windows. Okay, well, at least that was interesting, so we need to now figure out what's actually wrong with this. So I've put a different hard drive on it with Windows 10, and I've got it into Windows. I didn't load any drivers, but I've got a feeling I might have already loaded drivers previous on here. So it's seen it's there, this is in Specky, it knows it's there. Interestingly, it's saying this is a generic non-PMP monitor, when it isn't at all. It's a you know, a 1080p, and it knows it is 1920 by 1080 normally. So I don't know why this graphics card seems to think it's that. But out of interest, let's have a look in the control panel as well. Let's see what we can see in there, whether it's in the device manager, yeah, and how it shows up. I'll just get that. Yeah, okay, so in here it's saying reinstall the drivers, code 18. I mean, it's possibly that it doesn't have the correct driver installed, which might explain why it's not actually finding the monitor. So I'll install again the drivers on here, and let's see what happens now. But I suspect it'll just give a blue screen and crash. Sorry, a black screen and crash. It never gives a blue screen. Okay, well, it's progressing through that. I mean, I'm now downloading a display driver. Yeah, you see it there. So, I mean, so far it is sort of running. But I've had this on the other hard drive anyway, at least, and I think I've even tried this one before. You know, just go to a black screen. I mean, on the last time I tried it, just at the end of the point when it's actually downloaded the file before I even started installing it just went to a black screen. Yeah. Okay, let me have a think about that and see what it wants to do. I'm guessing maybe it's popped up behind here. Yeah. Huh. No, give it a bit of time, see if it decides to do something here. Well, after like waiting about 30 seconds or more, it came to here. So let's install it. Let's just go for an express installation. Let's just try that. Oops, clicked the wrong button. Next express installation, and let's see what happens. Yeah, but so far I've never actually, well, before I could clean all the crap off it. Yeah, but I don't think that's going to make any difference. I've not actually managed to get this installed. Okay, I'll pause the video again and let's see where we go to next. Well, I just lost the connection to the camera, and I sort of balanced the camera up here. I just get connected back on, at which point it went to the black screen. So it's like maybe 25% into the loading the drivers, it just goes to the black screen. So that's what's wrong with this, and I'm a bit of a loss to really know why it's doing this. I mean, memory test's okay. The hardware is running until we load the drivers, and then we can never actually load the drivers. I've tried it a few times. I have actually got the drivers to load on occasion, but it still isn't stable. I'll restart this and give it another go. I've spent a frustrating hour or so trying to get this to work. So basically, once I load the drivers onto the hard drive, it crashes during the loading of the drivers, and then I can't get into Windows anymore. It crashes during loading Windows. Quite often on the keyboard, the caps lock light is still working, so it's not like the Windows is crashed, but it's like the display is crashed. And I can't get a handle on exactly what's going on with it really. So what I thought I'd try and do, for want of a better idea, was to see whether the voltage rails PEX, which I think is on this sort of regulator, I could be wrong, clearly that might be PEX, but V-core I can measure across the capacitors. And then these spaces here, like obviously where capacitors could be fitted, but I don't believe they've been removed. This is VRAM. I mean, we can pretty much prove this anyway. If I go to get a connection onto ground, so if you look at on these capacitors here, I'll just put it onto ohms range. These are reading like almost short, which is what the V-core was reading anyway. So one side of this would be V-core. If you look on these, one side's about 50 ohms, which is probably RAM. The other side's ground, obviously. And then this little coil down here, this is reading 40. That might have been PEX. I can't remember if it was on the other side of the board now. But anyway, we can power it up and measure these voltages, and we can, you know, get it to boot into Windows. And when it crashes, let's see if anything changes. You know, I mean, I've no idea if it will, but it doesn't seem like an unreasonable idea to try it. Yeah, so let's power it up. It's on, and let's see what we can see, if anything we can see happening. So let's go on to voltage range, on ground. So I'm guessing this is VRAM 137, 0.749. I'm guessing that is, well, I'm sure that's V-core. Oh, this is a 12 volt regulator. That's not going to tell us anything, but we can check these two easily. So, oh yeah, what I need to do is just actually attach a cable so I can see when it crashes. I forgot to attach the HDMI. Let me see if I can get it over this far across the desk to HDMI cable. One cable another was actually catching in the CPU fan there. Made me jump, yeah. The trouble when you get so much stuff on the desk is you get strange noises, you tend to jump. Okay, so let's have a look. Put the HDMI in. Yeah, so I've got the blue light on the monitor saying no signal. Let's try it again so I can get a picture on the screen, and let's have a look to see if we can see anything obvious. I'll just shut it down. It's just a little bit warm, it's not hot. Right, so it's off. Yeah, let's go again. Let's see if we can actually get a picture. I'll just set the monitor to HDMI in case it doesn't automatically set to HDMI. I've tried this with the, yeah, I've got a picture. I've tried this with using the onboard video as well, so if I get into Windows, but once I get the drivers loaded, I can't. Yeah, so I've got a picture on the screen at the moment. This is your VRAM, this is your V-core. I'm just interested if anything changes when it blacks out. The other thing I've noticed, by the way, sometimes when this kind of like crashes or whatever it is it does, sometimes the fans will come on full speed and stay on full speed. And sometimes the fans, if they're already off, they stay off. Yeah. Ah, did that change? Yeah, it did change. 9.1. And that stayed the same. Let's go again, once more. So now it's blacked out on the monitor, yeah? The screen's blacked out. Let me just shut it down again. Okay, I've shut it back down. Let's have a look at that again. I'm not sure what it's telling us, but it's telling us, I'm sure it's telling us something. So, that's the V-core. Now the computer's preparing automatic repair because effectively it's locked up too many times. Let's see what actually happens when it goes into automatic repair. It's doing it now. I can move, it'll probably come, yeah, now ask me if I just want to boot. Diagnosing. So all the time it's doing this is staying with 0.749. Right. I'll let it finish doing that and then let's have a look again what happens. Okay, so I've hit the restart option. I've got the Windows loading screen. 0.749. I should have moved the camera where you can see it, to be quite honest. But if I do it now, it'll go off before you can see. So I've got like this little swirly thing loading Windows 10. That screen's gone blank and it's gone to 913. I'm not honestly sure exactly what that's telling us, apart from it's telling us something. I'll do a bit of asking around and see if anybody else has got any ideas on this. Otherwise, it's going to get published and see what you guys think. Okay, let's see what I can find out. So you can see now what the problem is with this. It's a bit of an odd one. I mean, maybe this is repairable. I mean, the voltage supply to the GPU from the VRM is effectively set by the GPU. So the GPU itself, tells the VRM to give it more power, and it seems that when the voltage goes up, at this point it crashes. That may be kind of a symptom rather than the cause. Yeah, it's quite likely. I mean, you think, well, maybe something wrong with the BIOS or something is an outside chance, but given the history of this card, I don't really see why that would be the case. But it could be. I mean, anything could be. Yeah. So that's one thought. The other thought is that effectively, when the driver loads and kind of like turns the GPU on, the GPU itself is faulty, so it just crashes. This business of the fans sometimes going full on and staying full on, or sometimes when this powers up, they spin slowly, then stop. And sometimes when it crashes, they don't come back on when it gets hot. So it's kind of like the GPU somehow gone off into sort of like cloud cuckoo land and just not doing anything anymore. It's away with the fairies, yeah. So, okay, you've seen it. So let's see if anybody's got any ideas what to try next. And any suggestions? Yeah, let's give it a go and see if we can get somewhere. Okay, guys, hope you enjoyed this anyway. And ciao for now.